Good morning. Yep, it's still morning. It's about 11:30. Praise God. I pray that you're having a blessed day. This is Pastor Richard Pope here in Rainsville, Alabama. And I just wanted to touch base with you. It seems like the spirit of fear and anxiety is running rampant across America. I mean, because of COVID and because of a lot of different things. But I wanted to share with you some things here this morning about this. I don't even know if I would call it an election. I'd be more likely to call it a scam. But anyway, here's some things that you can research and find out. First is all the news medias but one are coming on, and they're talking about how the Attorney General Barr has been making statements that his office has found that there was no irregularity. Anyway, who got tongue-tied on that? But what he stated was that there was nothing wrong with the election. And all the news media's picked it up and everything. But the one thing that only One American News has been able to identify is this. When he made that statement, it was back in October. It was before the election ever happened. Of course, the media is not going to tell you that because, they like to cause a divide and conquer. That's the only way they're going to be able to be watched and everything. So many people are watching that garbage on television, ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN. And by the way, CNN is really running scared right now. If you do a little bit of research, you'll find out that they've been having their staff meetings on the phone and been calling folks, and they've even got it recorded, and it's out there. You do the research. It's even been recorded that we're not going to cover the Hunter Biden laptop story. CNN, Zucker's his name. He said we're not going to be covering the Hunter Biden laptop area and everything. And that is what you call biased media. That means that you're going to give a break to one person and not a break to another. Also, kind of to me, it's almost like being a racist, You're going to favor a black guy over a white guy or a white guy over a black guy just because of, their skin color. Well, in the media, it's done that way because a lot of times of skin color, but it's also done that way because party affiliation. CNN, you ought to be ashamed of yourself, but you're not. You've been doing it for years. CNN, constant negative news. Now, how about these Dominion voting machines? If you do your research on that, you're going to find out that, back before the election ever happened, the majority of ownership with Dominion voting machines. The majority of it. It's out there. You go do your research. But the majority of those Dominion voting machines, the majority stake in Dominion voting machines is owned by China. That's right. I'm not telling you nothing that you cannot go and start researching and finding out. The majority stake of the Dominion voting machines is owned by China. Wow. I know that's a shocker for you, isn't it? I mean, especially with old Hunter Biden and his dad all up around China and everything, and so forth and so on. Here's another thing. Biden promised he would not announce victory until all the votes and states did their certification. Well, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to look here on the calendar. I believe it was November the 3rd is when we had the election. And by that weekend, he was already calling himself the president-elect. So, just one of the many numerous lies that he's told and everything. But he did do that. Here's another something to stick in your hat and think about. Why hasn't Kamala Harris, if she really believes that she's going to be the vice president of the United States, why has Kamala Harris not vacated her Senate seat? Think about that. If she really thinks she's going to be the vice president, then why hasn't she stepped down? Excuse me. Especially since somebody, like the vice president to be, is out doing all these tours and everything. She can't possibly be doing her job in the Senate. Why hadn't she stepped down already? That ought to tell you something about they're fearful of what's fixing to happen. And now also we have a former president. Wow, imagine that, a book. He's got a book that just came out all in the midst of this stuff, and now he's going around giving talking points. I hope he likes the color orange. I really do, and not Tennessee orange. You have hundreds of people, like I said, the fake news, CNN and MSNBC, they're all in the fix. They are all in the fix. Yes, Fox News too. You got Newsmax, and you got that Owen, I think OAN, it carries a subscription with it. Newsmax is free. One News Network, I believe it's OAN, I think it's like $5 a month. But even Fox News, they have went the way of the world and stuff. But you have hundreds of people that have come forward. Now I want you to hear me when I say this. Hundreds of people who have come forth, signed affidavits from all different states. This is not Republican affidavits. This is not Democrat affidavits. This is American affidavits. They're from people who voted Democrat. They're from people who voted Republican. They are simply sick and fed up. I got news for you. I don't see how anybody in a, let's just take Detroit, for example. I used to drive a truck, and when I went up there, I was just shocked at how trashed out that place was. Used to be, the auto capital of the world and everything. And I went up there, it was like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And when I drove through, it looked like a ghost town. Well, when I got home, I just wanted to know, who was responsible for all of this? Was it the Republicans or the Democrats and stuff? I'll give you a little homework assignment here. Look at Baltimore, Maryland. Look at San Francisco, California. Look at Detroit. Look at all of these, looks like homeless people are living there. I mean, it's a pigsty. And you're going to find out they have Democratic mayors. They have Democrat council people. And they keep voting them in over and over and over again. Think about this. I challenge you to prove me wrong on this. What they do is they get these people in those cities so dependent on a handout and on welfare that they keep voting them back in. That's part of the problem. The other part of the problem, guess where a lot of them Dominion voting machines are at? You got it. Check it out. A lot of them Democrat strong-held, yep, that's right, cities that look like a pigsty. And yet the mayor and all the way down and stuff. Think about this. All the cities that had riots and burned their own buildings down and everything like that. See if you can find one of them that's a Republican-run city. Won't be able to do it. You know why? They're not on the take like the Democrats are with the world system and Antifa. That's just like now Kamala Harris is saying she's wanting to help, the small business people and stuff. Well, that's strange. She's saying that now, but when all these cities was getting looted and burnt, she came out and proposed, hey, let's help bail these people out and help raise millions for it. Prove me wrong. I dare you to prove me wrong on that. You won't be able to. And another thing, she was a district attorney out there in California. There was some people that went undercover and exposed Planned Parenthood for selling aborted babies' parts, body parts. Guess who prosecuted the people who went undercover to expose that? Yeah, do your research. Kamala Harris did. She is one evil Jezebel woman. Okay, let's move on now. Many people are running scared of the four squads. The 4 people in the squad. AOC from New York, Omar from Minnesota, Presley from, I don't forget where she's from, somewhere up there, and then Tahib from Michigan. And AOC said, hey, let's make a list out of all the people who's been supporting Trump they're going to pay. Hey, AOC, I got news for you. My name's Richard Pope. I don't fear you, but you're going to be fearing God before all this is over with. You have nothing to worry about from these people up there, because before it's all said and done, they will be begging for mercy. No, I'm not saying we're going to go up there and drag them out of their house, but they're going to learn who really God really is if the church ever decides to stand up and speak up. Right now, it's almost, and I'm not talking about COVID-19, but I'm talking about people will not say, vote the Bible. They very seldom will say that. They're afraid of losing 501c3 status, where your donors and everything can't count that off on their taxes. If you're that stuck on the government, by the way, my church is 501c3, but I'm not going to be held down and told, hey, vote for whoever you think you need to vote for. Part of my job as a pastor is to lead, guide, and direct. And it's very simple. If you're a Christian and you're going to vote the Bible, you don't have no choice as far as Democrats. You can't vote for somebody that's killing God's children. I don't care how you try to clean it up. I don't care how you try. Well, I can't believe you just said that. I can't believe more pastors are not saying that. I can't believe more pastors are not standing up and saying, look, we cannot vote for a party that is murdering babies. And not only that, but a party that will prosecute people who are trying to expose the selling of baby parts. I can't believe we don't have more churches standing up for that, because they're afraid of the world. I'm not afraid of the world. I'm not part of it. We're not supposed to be part of it. But let's move on. Check this out. Donald Trump got a little over, I think, 11 million. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's somewhere around 10 to 11 million more votes this time than he did in 2016. The only time an incumbent president has ever got that many votes and did not win re-election was Grover Cleveland. I believe it's somewhere around 150 years ago. That should tell you something. Here's something else. Biden is a racist. He's on film. He's been in the House Representatives. He's been in the Senate talking about that he didn't want his kids going to school with black people because he was afraid it would change them and stuff. Do your research. I mean, he never held that back, sitting there holding up Robert Byrd's hand and stuff like that, the KKK and everything. Listen here. Did you know he got more votes, Joe Biden? Now, we're talking about the same guy. Think about this. You remember when they would show him, if they would show him on his campaign trail, which wasn't very much at all, but they would be like 10 or 15 people. Remember that? Well, now they're saying by all the votes that's given, he got more votes than Hillary Clinton did in 2016 in the black district, in the Latino district. Did you know that? That's hard to believe, isn't it? I know. Well, watch this. This gets even better. This is how stupid they became and arrogant. He got more votes than Barack Obama did in the black districts. That's right. Do your research. He actually got more votes than Barack Obama did in the black district in both of the presidential elections. Now, not combined, I'm not saying that, but both times Barack Obama ran for president, guess what? Joe Biden this time got more of the black percentage votes than Barack Obama did. Isn't that stupid? I mean, that's how bad arrogant, and I'm going to come back to that. But after all of that, and now, think about this. 17% of the Democrat voters, this is how bad the media has kept this covered. 17% of Democrat voters, not Republicans, Democrat voters, 17% said had they known about the dealings with Hunter Biden and Burisma and China and the laptop, they would have never voted for Joe Biden. 17%, that's pretty stout, you know. I mean, of course, as many as they piled in, and we're getting to that. Just like right here in Georgia, there shouldn't be no runoff. What happened in Georgia? They couldn't get North Carolina to play ball with them. That's the reason, if you think about it, on the night when everything shut down and all of a sudden these UFOs or you trucking those and stuff like that, when they showed up and everything got flipped from Donald Trump to Creepy Joe, they couldn't get North Carolina to play ball with them. So they needed another state to try to flip the Senate. So where did they come to? Yep, you got it, Georgia. Well, why Georgia? For years, a lot of people have been moving from up north Now, I've not got nothing against up north, but from up north and also from out west, California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico. Georgia has become kind of like a Hollywood of the South. They were even told, look, don't mess with the abortion issue in Georgia or we'll quit having films down there. Now, check this out. Georgia has a Republican governor who is pretty much dominated by Stacey Abrams, who lost the election, though she hadn't conceded. It's been over 2 years. They have a Secretary of State who is a Republican. I believe before it's all over with, you're going to find the money trail, and we're going to find out it goes to China. It may go through Biden, or it may go through Hillary, it may go through Barack Obama, but I believe there's going to be some people going to prison over this. So what are you getting at? Well, they knew where they could pull some strings at. I'm talking about the Democrats. And they knew where that they couldn't pull some strings at. But what they did, check this out. I got the figures. Trump got 73.5 million votes. 73.5 million votes. Biden got 79.3 million. Almost 6 million more votes than Donald Trump. There's no way that happened. And people are saying, why don't Trump concede? He's not going to concede. Trump won this election in a landslide. Trump wound up with close to 400, I would say. With close to 400, Biden did not win very many states at all. Did you know, if you watch the election, Trump was leading in Virginia, and they had already, this is how bad the Democrats had screwed this deal up. The night of the election, Trump was leading. They checked it off for Biden. North Carolina, Trump was leading. They checked it off. They had to go back and pull it back. And you know who gave Arizona? You know who declared Arizona? Fox News. And it wasn't even. They're still trying to figure out what happened out there. But Fox News declared the victory for Joe Biden and claimed that he was the next president-elect. The reason they're trying to do all this stuff, set all these cabinets up, blah, 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 blah. They're trying to condition the American people to receive this. And if you listen to the news, they will make snide remarks about President Trump. They'll say he still is not conceded, even though it's virtually impossible. You know, they're trying to condition us. Listen, the media is nothing but lying dogs. I don't care if you share this video. That's all they are. CNN is being found out. They are being found out. You should watch, go research that and watch Mark Zucker, his face when he is told, did you know we've been recording your phone conversation? And he just goes like, uh-oh. And he says on one of them conversations, we're not going to cover Hunter Biden's laptop. We're not just going to do that. All of these medias, if you ever watch one, you can flip to the others, and it's basically the same thing. All of your news agencies are being told what to say, when to say it, how to say it. Now, what did God show you about military martial law and stuff? I was praying and I was asking God. I said, God, I said, where is all these prophets and prophetesses gone? I said, they're like, they went in a cave and they hid somewhere. I said, there's none of them, and some of them they even come out and said, oh, I miss God, and stuff like that. And I'm like, what has happened to the men and women of God that have said, hey, you know what, 4 years ago, Donald Trump going to be president for 2 terms. Where are them people at? How about right before election? He's going to win in a landslide. Where are them people at? I'll tell you where they're at. They're watching the world. They're listening to what the world is having to say, and they're praying don't nobody come and ask them, hey, didn't you say so-and-so? Well, guess what? My name's Richard Pope, and I'm telling you right now, Donald Trump will be the next president. Here comes your martial law and stuff. What's going to happen, excuse me, is when the rats all figure out that the game is over, a lot of them have, they're going to start turning on one another. And they're going to start exposing some dirty deeds that you would never thought people would do in the United States of America. Martial law is going to be called in because all of a sudden, all these peaceful Democrat places, I mean, you know, they pretty much torched their cities, so there's not a lot left to torch. Well, they're going to start torching them again to try to say that there's civil unrest, but no, they're not going to say that really, because remember when they were burning down the cities, they were saying there was peaceful protests, and then behind the reporters, the whole town was in flames, but they were saying it's mostly a peaceful protest. Why did people not see it then? On the military tribunals. Now, before you say, hey, preacher, you can't do that with the citizens and stuff. You can't unless they're charged with treason. That's right. There's a lot of people in the military that's going to be found out. There's people in the CIA. There's people in the FBI. There's people even up higher. I'm talking about like, you know, former president. I hope they liked orange, and I'm not talking about Tennessee orange. Be a Secretary of State. I think her name's Hillary. A lot of this stuff, people are asking, well, why didn't it already happen? You've seen what they've done with Donald Trump. They've tried to impeach him. They fought him. They've done all this other stuff. Well, guess what? When he is sworn in for another 4 years, woe unto them that have tried to cause such mass destruction in America. These people don't love America. They have no desire for America to succeed, because as long as we are in turmoil, they are in power. As long as America is burning, these evil people, they do not care. If you love America, they want power, and they want it any way possible. The American people re-elected Donald J. Trump. I hope you share this. I could care less if they show up at my doorstep. The American people have gotten sick and tired of the media and the lying Democrats and the cohabitating rhinos, you know, Republican only and name only. They're sick of them because they have seen what they have done to this country. They will say, let me help you with one hand while the other hand has got a pistol in it, and they're robbing you. It's that simple. We, the American people, are not that stupid. They think that the media has brainwashed, and a lot of people it has. They become ostriches, and I pray. That's the reason I'm praying, and I ask you to pray and spread the word that the hidden things be brought out. Did I say that from the Democrats? No. Did I say from the Republicans? No. Hey, if President Trump is guilty, let it be found out. If Biden is guilty, let it be found out. We need to take America back. This nation was not founded by a Democrat or Republican. It was founded on the principle of God and God Almighty. And them 4 people up there that call themselves the squad, I sure wouldn't want to be them. I really would not want to be them, because they're soon to reap what they've been sowing, which is turmoil. And just think of this. All of these elections that's happened lately, and I'm fixing to be done, all of these elections where people said they didn't understand how they could lose. They didn't lose. Dominion voting machines changed votes. This isn't just about Donald Trump. Think about it. This is what they have done to America. They have tried to change America at the voting booth. So do you think people, well, I know a lot of people don't like Donald Trump. Well, guess what? A lot of people don't like me. But that doesn't mean you vote for what they stand for, not who they are. For example, you vote for the Democrats. I hate to tell you this. I love you, and I'll be praying that you'll repent. But it's just like if you drive the getaway car at the bank. You get caught, you're going to prison as an accessory. If you're a Christian and you voted for Democrats, you're an accessory to murder. I don't know how else to put that. And I hate to put it like that, but somebody might need to tell you the truth instead of telling you, well, I can understand. No. If you voted for somebody that's voting for abortion, you're just the same as doing it yourself. God help you. I love you, but I don't love the sin that you voted for. But as I come to a close, now is not the time to throw in the towel. Now is not the time to be going, what are we going to do? Here's a simple prayer you can pray. Real simple prayer. God, judge in this election matter. That's all you got to say. God, judge this election matter. And then turn it loose and let God be God. God, judge this election matter. Let your hand reveal what's really happened. All right, here I'm going to say it again. God, judge this election matter. Let your hand reveal what you want to be seen. I think that's pretty fair prayer. It's not saying Democrats be exposed. It's not saying Republicans. It's saying let God be God in America and let God pull the covers back, that we will see everything before it's too late. Because I can tell you, Biden and Kamala are modern day Jezebel and Ahab. It's that simple. That's right. I just told you. Jezebel, I was praying and God said they're just like Jezebel and Ahab, just like the Clintons was. But this Ahab, which is Biden, they will dump him faster than a bucket of water getting spilled. They only use him just to get him there. The reason they didn't use Bernie Sanders, he wouldn't cow down to their demands. The reason they wouldn't use a lot of them that ran against Joe Biden, think about this. Go back and do your research. Joe Biden was washed up. Joe Biden was on the ropes. Joe Biden didn't have a chance of being elected. Remember, they were saying, hey, Joe might need to, and Emo Brock said, Joe, don't do that. And then all of a sudden, whoo, he started coming on like a freight train. Wonder what happened. I mean, he won in South Carolina. Wow, of all places, I think that's where it was at. And that's where his resurgence started, and Bernie Sanders started going down. I wonder what happened. I'll tell you what happened. They finally found somebody that was going to be their yes man, was going to do exactly what they told him to do. And his name, you got it, Joe Biden. Well, how did Kamala wind up coming along? Took them a while to find somebody who was going to be the yes woman. They were going to get a woman. Many people thought it was going to be Elizabeth Warren. She wouldn't give them everything they wanted, but Kamala Harris will. Well, at least she's going to say. But listen, folks, God, judge this matter. Let your hand reveal all the corruption in this election. Very simple. You ain't got to sit there and go to warfare. Just ask for God to judge it and his hand to pull the stuff back. And it's that simple. But I'm going to get off here for now and everything. But I'm telling you, there's plenty of hope. I'm telling you right now, on January the 20th, I'm looking forward to seeing Donald J. Trump say the re-inauguration speech. They're building the platform up there, they think, for Creepy Joe. They ain't got a clue what's fixing to happen to them. God, and I'll share this with you. I don't want to share everything, but God showed me, he said, son, their arrogance has reached to where I smell it in my nostrils. And I said, God, what are you talking about? And he said, they brought truckloads of votes in. He said, they done stuff that nobody else. And he said, they done it to the point to where they went way over and beyond. And he said, that's what's going to hang them, is their arrogance. He said, pride goes before a fall. And he said, I hate pride, but arrogance is something that makes me sick, because they've done this at nighttime thinking I would not see it. And you could ask my wife. She'll tell you, on election night, on November the 3rd, when it was 8 o'clock, I said, God said they're fixing to start working on stealing the election. She said, you think so? I said, we get up in the morning. I said, those states that he's ahead of, I said, he's going to be behind in. And here's you something else to chew on. Usually on all the elections, the Democrat is always jumped out front. Now, I'm not being ugly when I say this. When Bush, was going against Gore, Gore jumped out in front. And everybody said, oh, he's got it. And I started laughing. Some people said, what's so funny? I said, when the Republicans get off of work, you're going to see the tide change, because they're going to go vote after they get off of work. What happened? After the Republicans got off work, they went and voted, and it started changing. Well, what happened when this happened with Trump and Biden? Just the opposite effect. That's how arrogant they were. They shut the polls down because they wanted to bring in, just like a truck driver from New York. This is affidavit. It's out there. You can research it. He had a truckload of ballots from New York. He delivered them to Pennsylvania, dropped the trailer, and he came back the next day to pick up an empty trailer. He didn't even have a trailer to pick up. It was gone. Also, a lot of these people that's coming forward, they're scared. There's a lot of people had personal vehicles. They put votes, ballots in them. That is a felony. No ballot shall be transported except by the Postal Service. And there's pictures upon pictures upon pictures of people transporting ballots in personal vehicles. So that's what all this stuff is. People are getting scared. They're getting nervous because they know that people are going to start squealing. The closer they get to this, the more people are going to start squealing and stuff. There was an Indian woman who just became a U.S. citizen. She's on national television, and she went in to vote. And they said, "You've already done absentee ballot." And she said, "No, I have not." They got mad and told her to get out. Why did they do that? They had used her name and stuff. But and I'm closing. Here's your little joke now. I just want to know, of all these people, they have miraculous working power. There is not a state that they have not found dead people that they raised back to life, and they went in and voted, and then they dropped dead right after that. Miraculous working power. That's being sarcastic. But there's a lot of dead people that voted in this last election. But you know what the funny thing about it is? They all voted Democrat. You don't never hear the Democrats saying, "Hey, how come all them dead Republicans, how come y'all let them vote?" You don't ever hear the Republicans making these statements and stuff. Why? They don't want awareness. But my time's come and gone. I'm telling you, now is the time to be praying and asking God, because there's victory in Jesus. God bless you. We love you. I speak a blessing of boldness in your life right now. Enjoy. Amen.